month ago, we met right here in this building, and we had a time of prayer, and we were asking the question, God, what do you want us to be doing? In fact, we asked the question simply this: we want to know, Lord, what you want us to be doing, and if you were to come back in 5 years, that you would find us faithful. We want to be faithful to God in everything that we're doing. So we met that night on January 31st, and since then, the board and I have met, and we've identified, out of everything that we heard from God, we've identified 7 categories of areas, and one of those has to do with facilities development. So let's talk about that. Here we are in the Row Activity Center, and you've already seen some of the changes here. And our purpose was basically to do this. Let's turn this into a room that we can use for many different types of events. Not simply youth ministry, but also any kind of children's event, any kind of adult event, any kind of dinner or conference, that sort of thing. We wanted to turn this into a multi-purpose room that's easily convertible into something else that we can use for ministry. We want this to become a hub for community involvement. We want it to be inviting as well. So that's one of the reasons why we're making the changes here. Now, as we walk into the other building, in the rest of the building, you've already seen some of the changes here as we look at the Mission Cafe. Now, the Missions Cafe, its purpose, its design is simply to do this: create a way in which we can raise money for missions work, but also have some fun too. So we're turning all of this into a Mission Cafe. People can come here, get a cup of coffee or maybe a smoothie or something else, and just simply hang out with a few folks between services, but also throughout the week, early at a youth ministry, any kind of thing like that. And so we're excited about this, but let's talk more about what's going on outside. One part of the project will be to get this ponding basin and move it to the back part of the property. We need more parking right up next to the worship center so that people don't have a long distance to walk. So that's one of the goals. But we'll also be able to put a playground in and be able to have play areas so that the youth and the children can also use a playground out front here. And that would also be part of a community project too, available to the community. People would be able to enjoy that as well. I love this mural, but more than that, I love Clovis. This is home, and God has placed us here in the midst of Clovis to be an influence, to be a light to this community. And the way we manage this property, the way we steward this property is an indication, is a way in which we can be found faithful if Jesus were to come back in the next 5 years. So we want to invite you to be a part of what we're doing. Maybe you've got some talents that, and maybe our particular abilities that you could help in doing some of the work that we're talking about. Maybe you've got money and you want to participate in that way. What we're simply asking you to do is to pray about it. Say, God, what is it you want me to do? How can I be found faithful in the midst of what my church, this church, is doing in the midst of Clovis? Help us love Clovis and help us to be found faithful.